So, Joe, I could have a much easier life if I wanted to do it incorrectly. It would be much easier for me. Sitting here, I could just let all of these countries continue onward with these massive deficits. I mean, honestly, I don't want to use the word because it's a highly respected show, but they are taking advantage of us, okay? I'll use a different set of words. They are taking advantage
it's cable,
of us.
though, if you really want.
I know, but it's not as good as the other word. You know what the other word is.
You can get away with it on
We
cable.
are being taken advantage of.
Okay.
And I don't like it. And I haven't liked it for many years. China, $507 billion a year in deficits. With the EU, $151 billion. With Mexico, $120 billion. Mexico, who would think Mexico? Mexico's making a fortune. Plus, they have a tax. We don't have a tax. They have a tax on top of that, and the tax is almost 17%, a VAT tax. And you look, I could go through every country. I could talk about Japan. I could talk about, they're very good allies, but no wonder they're good. I mean, the deficits, the money they're making off the United States. Now, I would have a higher stock market right now. It's already up almost 40%, as you know, since the election. It could be 80% if I didn't want to do this. But ultimately, what I'm doing is making it so it's right. And we'll also start cutting expenses.
Are you seeing some sign, some glimmers of success, of hope from some of these trading partners that they're starting to?
Hope.
I mean, but are they starting to? What you think is come
100%.
around? Let me mention just one thing. Yesterday we had our Delivering Alpha conference, CNBC. Steve Bannon spoke, and he was talking about China. Said some very positive things, by the way, about your presidency. But
he should.
Said for the first time in decades, we're winning against China. They're so scared they don't know what to do. And Kudlow at this point was on as well, who said the guy that may be holding things up is President Xi.
Yeah.
At this point.
I don't want them to be scared. I want them to do well. I really like President Xi a lot, but it was very unfair. So I raised 50. We're down 500. Now, some people would say 375 billion. I'm not talking about million. I'm not talking about pennies. I'm talking about we're down 375 billion, but other estimates could say 507. It doesn't matter. So it's in between there or it's there. We're down a tremendous amount. I raised 50, and they matched us. I said, you don't match us. You can't match us because otherwise we're always going to be behind the eight ball.
Would you ever get to 500 though?
I'm ready to go to 500.
We've got with the midterms on the horizon. What if the stock market were to go down?
Well, I actually think that's, well, if it does, it does. Look, I'm not doing this for
20%?
politics. I'm doing this to do the right thing for our country. We have been ripped off by China for a long time. And I told that to President Xi. I said, how did this ever happen? And you know what their answer is? Because I deal with the highest echelons of China. One of the great people of China said, there was never anybody to talk to in the United States. We would put on a trade barrier where you couldn't sell cars or you couldn't sell beef or you couldn't sell your farm products. We would put on, nobody would talk to us in the United States. So we said, hey, that's great. Then we'd put on another one. We'd put on a tariff on cars, 25%, and you charge us virtually nothing, 2.5%, but they don't pay it. So we would do this and nobody would talk. We'd start off at a lower number, we'd raise it, nobody would ever complain until you came along, me. And they said, now you're doing more than complaining. We don't like what you're doing. You know, they think I'm doing maybe too much, but of course they're going to think that. But for many years, and I'm not just saying Obama, I'm saying Bush, and I'm saying long before, they had nobody. And it's very interesting because I actually asked them the question. So we're down 507 recently. We're down $507 billion in trade deficits. How did it happen? And they told me nobody ever complained. Nobody ever talked to us.
This morning you tweeted.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.